Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I really felt prompted to speak about the topic of singleness. So if this is something that you'd like to learn more about or hear more about, because I feel like it's something we don't always talk about, but I think it is important to talk about it, then just keep watching. So a bit of backstory on me. I have mentioned this on my channel before, but when I was in high school I did rush into a relationship, kind of because everyone else in my year level was, and it just kind of felt like that's just what teenagers do or whatever. But it didn't really end up well in the end. Like, it obviously ended, but looking back on it now, I learned so much from that. And since then, that was a while ago now. That was, I don't even know, like 4, maybe even 5 years ago. But I've been single for that time, for the past 5 years, and it's been awesome, honestly. And obviously there are days that it's harder, but in general it's great. And so that's why I wanted to speak on this topic. And so the first point I wanted to make is the importance of waiting for the right person and for the right time. Now, in the Bible it says in Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." And so that obviously applies to every area of our life, but especially in this area of relationships, I feel like sometimes we might try and do things in our own strength or make things work that maybe isn't supposed to happen and kind of force things. But I can say from experience that it's honestly so much more worthwhile if you wait for the right person and the right time, because it saves so much heartbreak. And I think since I've been through heartbreak before, like years ago, I said to myself and I said to God, never again. Like, I can't deal with this ever again. It's horrible. And so I would rather just wait for the right person and the right time. The second point I wanted to make is that singleness is not a setback, but it's actually a set up. It's actually what I've learned. It's been such, like, your singleness is such a beautiful season of your life where it's just you and God, and you're able to just grow and become the best version of yourself during that time and to grow in your character. And it's, yeah, such a great time. And I think sometimes we can think that, in a sense, your singleness is like a punishment or something, but it's not. It actually is not. It's such a blessing, because I mean, I've seen people around me, rush into relationships instead of taking the time to better themselves and grow in their single years or single season, and end up rushing into relationships. And you can see the brokenness in that relationship because both people aren't ready yet and they've just rushed into it. Again, speaking from my own experience when I did that when I was in high school. But that's why it's so important and such a blessing to have those seasons in your life where you don't have anyone else to be, responsible for, because you're just able to focus on yourself. And it's such a beautiful season, honestly. And yeah, it just means that when you do end up with your future person, that it's, obviously you're never going to be perfect, but it'll be two people that are confident in their identity and who they are, coming together to complement each other, not to, hold each other's heavy baggage if they haven't dealt with it yet. And yeah, so again, it's a set up season, and it's actually, as I said, a blessing, because it just reminds you, and it's reminded me of how high my value is and my worth is, that, we don't have to just settle for anyone, and God doesn't want us to just settle for anyone. He wants to give us the best. And so that's why it's so important to, shift our perspective that it's a beautiful season. It's a blessing, not a curse. And we can, I know there'll be hard days. I have my days where it can be hard, but when we shift our perspective, it just makes the season so much more special, and you can really make the most of it. Which is actually my final point, to make the most of your single years. For me personally, the past 4 or 5 years has been amazing for just being able to grow into who I am today. And obviously when you get into a relationship, you can still do these things. Like, please don't not do these things when you're in a relationship, but when you're single, you have so much more time to spend with your friends, your family, which, again, as I said, you can do that in a relationship too, but you just have more time, when you're single. And also for me personally, like, over the past couple of years, I've been so blessed with the opportunity to travel twice, which has been awesome, and has meant that, again, you could have done that if you're in a relationship, but I just feel like when you're single, you just you can just be like, oh, yep, I'm going spontaneously, and that's that, you know, it's just a lot easier. But yeah, I definitely encourage you guys, make the most of that season that you're in right now, or if you're in that season. It's so amazing to have all this spare time and just kind of figure out your life in a sense, especially when you're a young adult, that you need that time. But yeah, I hope that encourages you. So just finally, I wanted to encourage you guys with a verse in Proverbs 16 verse 9. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. And so I think that that's just such a beautiful reminder that, you know, in our heart we have those desires to one day get married, to have kids, that whole, you know, what we've always dreamed of. But it's actually God that directs our steps there to that point. And so there's nothing wrong with having those desires to want to get married or get into a relationship. It's so normal, and that's what God's created us to do, is to, you know, to have a relationship with other people, and especially in marriage, to have that special covenant between you and another person. And so it's so okay to have that desire. I think sometimes when we talk about singleness, we sometimes make it seem like we're not even allowed to have that desire. But no, you can have that desire. It's so natural and it's so good to have that desire. But just remember to trust in God that He'll direct your steps to that other person. And it's going to be so beautiful and worth the wait in the end. I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm also preaching to myself, because as I said, I have those days too, but it's going to be so awesome. And yeah, so thank you for watching, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. I hope this encouraged you, and hope to see you next time. Bye.